influencing popular culture, politics, and everything in between. The local station takes you ringside as we discuss the crazy world that is professional wrestling. This is Going Ringside with The Local Station.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Going Ringside. I'm your host, Scott Johnson, and we have a big show for you today because we got a big match coming up this Friday here in June. Let's pull it up right now. We are talking about TNA Against All Odds, June 6th out in Arizona. Big match. We're going to preview it today between that man who's going to join us, Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, and Santino Marella, the legend. So we're going to have Mr. Stone here in just a moment, and I want to talk about this huge match, huge things we're going to talk about with respect to TNA. But first, I do need to put a personal request. If you are watching this, you're very likely watching it on the brand new Going Ringside YouTube channel, youtube.com/@GoingRingside. Please stop what you're doing, subscribe to the channel. We bring you the biggest stars in the world every single week here on Going Ringside, and we just launched this new YouTube channel. We need your help. We need you to subscribe to the channel. Please do that for us. Spread the word about our new YouTube channel. We appreciate it. But let's talk about Mr. Stone, Santino Marella, two ring veterans, and he tells me they have been looking for years to possibly face one another. It is finally happening for Control of TNA. You can watch it this Friday, June the 6th on TNA Plus, their app, or Triller TV is also where it will be streamed out of, so you can check Triller TV as well. But this is a big deal because it's for control of the company. And I asked him, what does that mean? It's not good news if you work at TNA. You want to hear what he has to say. And by the way, if you're seeing this after June the 6th, we talk about a lot, not just the match. So you want to listen to this whole interview if you're, say, watching this on June 7th or 8th or 9th. There's a lot of big stuff in here you need to listen to. And I do want to point out that Mr. Stone's new Deputy Director of something, I can't remember off the top of my head, is our friend of the show, Victoria Crawford. Victoria Crawford, as you know, we've had on the show many times, back in TNA, back on top, and she has aligned herself with him. So we're going to talk about that as well. But let's get to it. Here is our brand new interview with Robert Stone, a.k.a. Mr. Stone. Well, we're joined by one of the biggest men in the world right now, Mr. Stone, a.k.a. Robert Stone. Director of Authority is what he's going for this Friday. Mr. Stone, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, hey, I'm happy to be here, but that name will change, and it'll be Sheriff Stone.
Sheriff Stone.
See the badge right there.
Okay. Are you going to officially change the title if you are, as I'm sure you believe, going to be victorious?
Oh, 1,000%. I'm going to change a lot of things around that place, including you never seeing Santino Marella again. That's
so. Let me back up a little. You and Santino, how did this all start? Where did the beef begin?
Well, let's just in 2010 to 2017, I was an active member of the TNA wrestling roster. Mm-hmm. I still have a lot of connections from there. I know some higher ups. And once this NXT TNA relationship kind of started, when you just look at everything he's been done, he's turned the place into a complete circus. It's completely out of control. So the higher ups that I still talk to basically reached out to me to ask if I'd be interested in coming over to TNA to try and clean it up. And here we are. So now this huge match happening Friday on TNA Plus Against All Odds, the winner gets control of TNA. It's crazy to say out loud, but it's happening.
I got to play devil's advocate here. I don't remember if it was the debate or I just saw a clip of Santino saying everyone's been making more money since he's been in charge. Do you dispute that contention that things have been better under Santino's leadership?
Everyone probably is making more money, but that's not what's important. What's important is that the company should be making more money. When I'm in charge, I'm going to cut everyone's pay in half. And, you know, if you don't look like a superstar 100% of the time, you're going to be gone, which means 80% of the roster is probably going to be gone. I'm going to have to, revamp the roster a lot, but it is what it is. We want to take this place to the next level. We want to make money.
Well, let me talk to you about the dynamics here. You are a young man. How old are you? Do you mind saying?
41.
You're 40. Well, you're not that young. You're not the youngest, but
41. But I look like I'm 31, right?
You do. I was even
body,
guess younger.
Botox. They all do wonderful things.
I was shocked when you just told me that. I didn't even realize that. So Santino's been doing this a long time as well.
obviously at a high level. I mean, talk to me about the dynamics of taking on Santino, a guy, world famous.
Well, so it's funny because over the years, even though he was part of WWE and I was in TNA, people always kind of said like me versus Santino match. We both kind of were entertaining guys, yet we could still also wrestle in the ring. So it's a kind of a match that I've heard fans talk about before that they've wanted to see, and it's actually never happened. We've had some interactions. We had a tag match this past Thursday that aired on Impact, but this will be the first time that we ever actually meet one on one in a match. Um, so I am excited for it. I think it's going to deliver. I think it's going to give the fans kind of check every box and give you some fun stuff, entertaining stuff, but also some really good wrestling. So I mean, in that sense, I am excited for it. Stone Santino to me just seems like a match that at some point had to happen.
So talk to me about the dynamics here. Santino is known as one of the funniest wrestlers of all time. He has been in a lot of segments. I think I would say a little more serious. Talk to me about the dynamics there, excuse me, easy for me to say, of taking on someone like Santino, who encapsulates the crowd with comedy as much as he does physical performance.
Well, I'll tell you what I like that I've brought out of him because I want a real challenge is by involving his daughter, by being in the tag match with his daughter, by telling him like it is, by potentially taking this company away from him. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's brought out a side of him that maybe isn't so comedic. It's brought out a side of him. I could see a fire has been lit under him. I could see it in his eyes. I could hear it in his voice. So I think Friday at Against All Odds, we're actually going to get a different Santino, a more focused, a more wrestling based Santino. Um, and I think that would be in his best interest to do that because if he comes out trying to play games or make jokes, it's not going to fare too well for him. He's not going to get too far. He's going up against Sheriff Stone. So
Sheriff,
that's good, you know.
Well, I got to talk to you about TNA as a whole. I mean, so much has happened as far as a company. The merger with NXT, WWE to a point, this has kind of changed the foundation. I mean, what has that been like? You've been on both ends. What has it been like? You probably know better than anyone.
Well, I mean, in 2025, it's a crazy thing to say that WWE and TNA are working together and have a relationship. You never would have said, when I started 15 years ago in TNA, I've been wrestling 25 years since 2000, but when I started with TNA in 2010, unheard of. It would have been if someone would have said, "Hey, WWE and TNA are going to be working together in 15 years," we would have laughed and said, "Yeah, okay, that's never going to happen." So it's wild to think that. And not only TNA, I mean, WWE is working with Noah in Japan right now. They're working with AAA in Mexico. They're working with all these different places, some independent promotions. Just recently, Natalia was on an NWA show. I mean, anyone could pop up anywhere, and it's just a really cool, fun time right now to be a wrestler or to be a fan because all this stuff going on, what's going to happen next kind of feel.
I saw even this past weekend, right before the recent pay-per-view, Shawn Michaels holding the TNA title belt. Wrestling fans never thought they'd ever see something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at NXT right now, and I'm going to leave this room, and I'm going to see Trick Williams walking around with his TNA championship.
Does that? Oh, I got to stop you because let's not bury a big lead there. That's a big story. What's it been like having Trick have that title? Does it get at you? What do you think?
I mean, it's history making. Every week something history making is happening. I mean, it was such a huge moment. It'll be in the books forever. It'll never be forgotten. A WWE contracted wrestler won a TNA championship. It's just wild. You know what I mean? Like you have to say it to yourself a few times and say, "Is this real?" You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Are you worried? I think I've seen rumblings of Trick not paying proper respect to the TNA title, maybe not showing up. Is there any concern with that?
I mean, you know what?
I mean, it's essentially WWE star holding the TNA title.
Hey, Trick's the champ right now. Trick is who he is. Trick's a star and he knows it. And I guess the ball's really in his court. He could pick and choose how he wants to portray himself as the champion and how he wants to act. I mean, that's really at this point his prerogative. I mean, tonight on NXT, Mike Santana from TNA he's the challenger. He has an opportunity for that TNA championship. So at the end of tonight, who knows what's going to happen because Mike Santana's great. But for the time being, while Trick is the champion, he
I got to talk to you about the ex-champ, Joe Hendry. So Joe was on WrestleMania against Randy. What did you think as a wrestler who's been doing this as long as you have to have the TNA champion on WrestleMania?
History making moment. Again, every week a new history making moment is happening. A contracted TNA wrestler in WrestleMania was amazing. It gives hope to anyone. I'm not still a regularly active wrestler, active wrestlers out there. It gives hope. If he could do it, if this crazy thing could happen, then maybe I could do it. So, like, to see that it's inspiring to see stuff like that happen because, there's no more that can happen. It's like, what if that could happen? You know what I mean?
Sure. I got to ask you about someone very close to our hearts here at Going Ringside. That would be I think she's currently still your deputy director of operations.
Sure is.
Victoria Crawford coming into the company. She's very close, been affiliated with our show. What has it been like having Victoria come into the company?
It's great. We never really crossed paths over the years. She was always in WWE. I was in TNA, separate places. But I always watched her stuff. I always thought she was super talented in the ring, and she obviously still is. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with her. She's great. I hope, we built a little relationship with each other. She's fun to be around. And, I think it's really cool that she is back in wrestling and back doing where I think she belongs and doing what she loves to do. And she's having a blast. So I think she's done great so far. And I think she'll have a long TNA wrestling career.
For you, obviously, the big match is Friday, but the career keeps going. Dream fights, dream feuds, be it a match, be it a stare down, anything you would like to do, going forward. Any name?
I always tell my wife, I'm like, I got to spray tan. I got to get new gear because this could be my last run or my last match ever. And she's always like, you said that like 20 times. You always are still going to have a match. And I'm still saying it this Friday. Hey, anything could happen, even though I think I'm going to win, but it could be my last match ever. You never know. But, I've gotten to, I think when you're younger, it's a cool thing to be able to fight a lot of people that you watched on TV when you were younger, kind of thing. So some of my favorites, I've gotten to be in the ring with Kurt Angle. I've gotten to wrestle, the Hardys and Sting. And I don't know off the top of my head, but I've gotten to be in the ring and wrestle a lot of the guys I watched when I was a kid. So now that I'm older, it's not like one person comes to mind right now to test myself who I'd want to be in the ring with. I think just whoever I am in the ring with, I know I just always want to put on a great performance, give 110%. And I still feel like I could go as much as I ever could have in the ring. When I get to a point where I feel like I can't anymore, I will not wrestle. But right now, I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life and I can move and, it's still very natural to me.
I want to spring a question on you. I had Shawn Michaels on a couple weeks ago. I asked him, and he shocked me with his answer. I want to get your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. Do you have one in mind?
How many do you need?
Well, let's try 4 as best you can. Shawn technically gave me 5.
Is this just my favorite wrestlers of all time?
I mean, that's up to you. It's at your discretion.
And I'm not just saying that because he's my boss, but Shawn Michaels, obviously, I was a huge fan of his. Love Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was just, I consider him a friend, but also just I was a fan of him, but I'm still a fan of him, even though we are friends. So Kurt, Shawn, I think AJ Styles is one of the best to ever do it, hands down. He's so realistic, but yet he could still do so much crazy. He could just do anything, and he's amazing at every step that he takes. And I've been in the ring with him so many times, and he's one of the best. So Shawn, Angle, AJ. Can I stick with 3 for now?
Throw in a 4th.
I don't want to rush into a 4th and it not be who
You don't want it to be thought out? Okay. Well, we'll have an
I don't want to say someone and it not be the right answer.
Okay. So yeah. There's no wrong answer. And for you, because we talked about your age, you're always thinking it'd be the last match. How are you doing physically? I talk to so many wrestlers and I get range. Some guys I can barely walk. Some guys are doing wonderful. How are you doing?
It's funny. Over all my years of wrestling, 25 years, I've had a broken ankle and a separated shoulder. Those are my only injuries in 25 years of pretty much wrestling almost full time, which in my opinion is pretty bizarre, knock on wood, that I've never had any other injuries. I feel I've always wrestled safely. I take pride in wrestling safely. This is an art. I never hurt myself or anyone I was in the ring with. I regularly in the gym. I always took care of my body, stretching, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel great. I feel like I'm 20 years old. So knock on wood again, but I mean, I feel amazing.
And I asked you about, the all-time greats. So I want to go to the opposite end of the spectrum because you work with a lot of them at both NXT and TNA. Who do you think the next generation stars are? Who surprises you and you think is going to break out and be a big name?
I mean, well, as far as seeds being planted and that are going to grow, I mean, new. So we didn't get to chat much. So Wednesday nights on Tubi, the show Evolve, myself and Peter Rosenberg are the commentators for that show. And that show is all about new talent and talent that's growing. And it's been a pleasure to call the action on it because you're seeing guys who are really like start up. They're brand new, where maybe in 10 years they'll be on a WrestleMania. So there's guys on that show like, are you familiar with like Swipe Right? That
Okay.
tag. Those are two guys. They're so young right now, but you could see little moments of greatness in them where you go in years to come, like those guys are going to be a big deal. There's a guy on there, Cappuccino Jones. He speaks so well and he looks good in the ring and he's great at wrestling, where I feel like in years to come, that guy could be the next AJ Styles, or you know what I'm saying? So that's the perfect show where you could look at guys and question and pick and choose who you think are going to be the next big time superstars. So I encourage everyone to watch that show. And it's funny, tomorrow night, it's actually Wednesday night Tubi. We're crowning a first ever last week we crowned the first ever women's Evolve champion. We'll be crowning the first ever men's Evolve champion. So I encourage everyone to tune in to that show tomorrow night.
And for our viewers, you're seeing this Wednesday. So yeah, tonight.
So it'll be, yep.
Yep. And one question, because there's some wrestlers are okay at talking. You're one of the ones who can talk, which is why you're on commentary. And it always makes me think of managers, because some guys aren't great on the mic, but they're amazing in the ring. What are your thoughts on managers? They don't seem to be as many as there used to be.
Yeah, I think it's something that's just kind of faded out. When I first came to NXT, that's what I basically became. I was a manager, and I think, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, I think they like those years of wrestling, and I think they enjoy having managers around, and that's why there was interest in me being a manager, and I think that's why they kind of enjoy me, because I'm in that role. But they're still around. Times have changed. There's a little different spin on them now, kind of, with wrestling being so realistic. Obviously, I mean, Paul Heyman is, if you want to consider him a manager, an advocate, but he's the
You
best.
think he's the best ever?
Hands down. Yeah. How could you say he's not, I mean, I enjoy others. I enjoy Bobby the Brain Heenan. I almost consider myself more of a modern day Bobby the Brain Heenan. I kind of compare myself to him. But yeah, I mean, they're few and far between now in the WWE, but the ones that are there, I think all have meaning. And I think if they go with the right story, a manager could really still be meaningful, even in 2025 wrestling.
Well, Mr. Stone, against all odds, where and when will people see it this Friday?
TNA Plus, an app you need to download, and if you pay the monthly subscription, you get these monthly Friday specials that they put on. It's it's going to be a big show. It's going to be great. Live from Phoenix. Myself for Santino Marella. Winner gets control of TNA, but the card's loaded. Against all odds, I have not been on one. The last Against all odds I was on was in 2012. So now 13 years later, I'm performing on another one, and I'm stoked. And I can't wait. I'm going to be all spray tan and jacked up, and Sheriff Stone is going to be in the house. Look at that baby again. I just got to show you again. Look at that thing.
Well, Sheriff Stone, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and say hi to Victoria for us.
I will, for sure. Thank you.
So I appreciate Mr. Stone. Good luck to anyone if he does win this match on June the 6th. And thank you for joining us for this episode. We're so excited to see Victoria back with TNA now, doing major things for them. And we're going to hopefully continue our relationship with TNA in coming weeks. And check out our new YouTube channel. Please, please, please subscribe. We need your help here. And we'll see you back here next time on Going Ringside.
This has been Going Ringside with The Local Station, brought to you every Wednesday on your favorite podcast player, on News4Jax Plus, as well as the News4Jax YouTube channel.